Hello boys and girls, how are you diddling? Today I'm talking about what is actually involved in the advisory role that the emissaries have. And will they always be doing it? I'll tell you all about that on the other side. So I was asking the emissaries how they were doing, and they said we're doing really well. And I said, how's it going? You know, your work and everything. And they said the work's going beautifully well, even though sometimes we do have frustrations. And I said, so what kind of frustrations do you have? And they said the frustration that we have is that we are only in an advisory role. We cannot get involved. And so they said sometimes we really want to be able to go down there and probably, I think they didn't say this, but probably go and shake the fucking life out of people. You know, wake up, you silly people. They said we can't do any more than advise and try and influence people into doing what they should be doing, or what's probably the better thing for them to be doing. So I said, how do you influence people? How do you influence them? What's your limit? And they said, well, we can bring things into the life that will make them kind of pay attention. We can give them light bulb moments. We can give them downloads if they accept that. We can give them nudges, but that's as much as we can go. And then it occurred to me to ask them about when we get to the next bit, the nice bit, the new world, and without the word order on the end, just the new world, the new bit. I said, will you all continue to do the same work? And they said, well, some of us will and some of us won't. They said that principally they all have the option of continuing and seeing the work all the way through to the end. And they said that many of them will because they want to get that job satisfaction, you know, to say, look, yeah, now it's finally good. But some will go off and do other things. You know, maybe they're only here for the hard bit. You know, I'll stay for the tough bit, and then when it gets nice, I'm going to go off and do a bit more tough. You know, it just depends on what they want to do and what they want to achieve. So I said, when we get to the nice bit, will your role change, or will it still be advisory? And they said, for as long as we are here, our role is only advisory. But what they said is that when we get to the nice bit and people are starting to really work on themselves, they say that the work gets easier because people are more open and more able to receive the messages, and not only just receive them, but also to pay attention to them and act on them. So they said the work gets easier and more fulfilling, I suppose, but still an advisory role, always, just the advisors. You know, the expression that they use is more like, well, if I were you. That's their kind of role. If I were you, I wouldn't do that, Gordon. And then I still go and do it. And they go, oh, God, what's he like? So I said to them, okay, as an advisory role, what advice have you got for us now? What should we be doing? What's the best advice? And they said this. They said now, more than ever, humankind must start to use their intuition. They must start to trust their body wisdom, what their gut is telling them. They said we're living in a world where truly there is no way to know where the truth lies. We're being bombarded with so much information, so much false information as well, that it's very difficult for us to know what it is that we should believe, what it is that we should do that's right or whatever. And what they say is, trust your intuition. Trust what you feel on the inside is right for you. What they said is that the way that our mind is set up, the unconscious mind, is that its job is to take in every single piece of information, filter it down, and then give us the answer that is safe for us. Okay? So if we've got our head screwed on right, literally as a metaphor, we've got our head screwed on right and we know what it is that we want, then our intuition will give us the right answer that's right for us. Not right for everybody else, right? But right for us. And they said that's what we need to listen to, and not listen to other people like me telling you what it is that you ought to do, or ought to think, or how you ought to behave. We know, we have an inbuilt sense of rightness, of justice, of what is good and what is bad. We don't need people to tell us what's good and bad anymore. And they've never needed to. We've always known. I remember reading a book about when there were, because every kind of highfalutin scientist says, well, if society broke down, it would be chaos and people would just be killing one another and it would be bloody awful. And that's not what experience shows. What experience shows is that in times of difficulty, or when there is no perceived structure, people work together, people help one another, people come together in community, and they work very well because everybody has an inbuilt moral compass, as I think Charlie Ward uses all the time, moral compass. But that's in truth what we have. We all know where north points. And so we don't need anybody to tell us. Enough of all of the advice and the finger pointing and telling us what we ought to do and what we ought not to do. Enough of that now, eh? So trust yourself. Trust yourself. When it resonates with you, it normally means that it's right for you. But remember, just because it's right for you doesn't mean it's right for everybody else. And just because it's wrong for you doesn't mean it's wrong for everybody else. It's only our personal journeys that are important, okay? So trust your intuition. That's what the advisory board has said. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.